Welcome to Intentional Excellence podcast, and I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. And if you're new here, this podcast is about sharing stories, strategies, and insights to help you lead a life filled with purpose, passion, and excellence. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube, shared in TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So subscribe and join our growing community. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm an educator, keynote speaker, podcast host, aspiring author, entrepreneur, and former school owner. And over the years, I've dedicated myself to empowering others, whether through innovative teaching, mentoring, or building businesses that make an impact. And I'm thrilled to bring you another incredible episode today. Today, we're joined by the amazing Alexandra Avella. She's the owner of a successful roofing business called Gulf Shield Roofing. And she's also the founder of this group called Boss Babes. It's a sisterhood of nearly 1,000 women dedicated to supporting and empowering one another. Alex or Alexandra is also a passionate advocate for youth and the community. She's a foster parent and a guardian ad litem. Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
I did. Guardian ad litem, working tirelessly to ensure the voices of Hillsborough youth are heard. Her journey is truly remarkable, and I can't wait for you to hear her insights. To my viewers, let me welcome Alexandra Avella.
Hi,
Hi,
Candace. Thank you
Alex.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
This has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to have Alex, but of course, life, the business of life,
Yes.
finally, I have her in my show, and I'm just so humbled and
It
thrilled to
makes
have her.
sense a week before Christmas. We have some time, right? No.
Yes, yes, and I wanted to end this year with because I'm starting season two, year 2025. So I'm so glad you're part of my 2024.
That's awesome. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Yes, of course, and it's also my pleasure. Alex, do you want to add any more to what I said about you? Did I miss anything that you want the viewers to know more about you?
No, you pretty much summed up, me as a person. I really love giving back to the community. It's been a great year as far as giving back to the community. So, we've built a lot of great things this year. And then, yeah, no, we did a great job.
Maybe during the show, I'd like to know more about that. That what you're doing for the community, especially the youth. I'm very interested. Maybe later you can
Yeah,
share it with us. Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So our first section or our first part of the show is about goal setting and vision in a unique industry. So, Alex, setting clear goals and having a strong vision is the foundation for success in any field, especially in a specialized industry like roofing.
Right.
I Yeah, right. So I remember when I was completing my second master's degree in New York, Alex, we were required to take an internship program or project before you graduate. I was an admin intern at that time. So my principal asked me to lead a massive task. Um, it was to for a school to be accredited nationwide. And if we are accredited nationwide, Alex, then we can get grants and sponsorship for that specific program, which is for the young students, like the
Right.
pre-K and stuff like that. So it will this was really an enormous challenge because the task involved submitting evidence for about 400 highly specific standards. So Alex,
Wow.
I had to gather. I work in Connecticut, a huge school district. So I had to gather photos, anecdotes, and documentation. I had to work with the superintendent, the HR, transportation, marketing, insurance department, and I even had like the insurance certificate,
Right.
everything necessary I had in my hands. So I set meetings with like high people. I was part of the process, and I thought I wouldn't make it because to make it even tougher, Alex, the deadline was the first week of January, and that was December when I started doing it.
Oh, wow.
I had like less than a month, so I worked tirelessly over the holidays. I know, to ensure that everything was perfect. And on the day of the audit, which is like the first week of January, The reviewers were there reviewing my portfolio, and I was a little, of course, scared because without the funding, the school will not push through.
Right.
So all of a sudden, I heard my principal almost at the end of the day announcing to the loudspeaker that, hey, ladies, to our friends, teachers, I just want to let you know that we passed the accreditation with like
Wow.
really high score. And I want to especially mention Candice Ruggiero for making everything possible.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
incredible.
And you know what, Alex? It's all about because I set a purpose and I had a vision. Like I wanted that school to continue. And that's all I did. I just made sure that everything had a purpose, everything was set for me. And I truly believe that whatever you do, Alex, if you put your heart and mind into anything, anything is possible.
Right.
Now, Alex, I'd love to hear about your experience with goal setting and vision. Um, I want to know, what are some of your key goals you set for your business early on? And the second is like, how did having a clear vision impact the way you approach challenges and growth?
Absolutely. So, as I've, had jobs growing up, it was always, trying to give back to the community. I was a vet tech before going into roofing. Like as a little girl, I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to become a roofer when I grow up. It's not a very girly career. So, when I was a vet tech, I loved animals and I loved animals a little too much. And
Okay.
so working in an emergency room with them, I was only seeing the worst of the worst. So, I was like, I love animals, I want to, help the community, but I can't do it that way. And at the time, my husband was getting into roofing, and I'd start like ride alongs with him. And I'm like, oh, I want to go talk to people at the door too. And before you know it, I was talking to a bunch of people all the time and kind of like, it's not like you're a therapist at the door, but
Yeah.
you're kind of you are talking to so many people and hearing what their problems are, as far as like major construction on their home, or like we just went through a hurricane, so you're getting very raw emotions of people. And in the roofing and construction industry, you have a lot of people that scam, you have a lot of contractors that are not trustworthy. So being authentic, being a good person, it goes so far in being a contractor in Florida especially.
Yes.
I mean, people are very guarded in terms of like, roofers or anyone. I've had my own horror stories owning a home and, getting scammed through whatever it is. And it's really upsetting. And so you only have a few minutes to gain their trust and kind
Yes.
of like talk to them like they're human beings and understand what they're actually wanting. So, I think as long as you're, realizing people are people, and
Mhm.
you are actually listening to their problems and like like conversating with them, that's the biggest thing, is don't forget that you're talking to a human being. There's a lot of times where you go to the doctor and there's a nurse there and she's not being the nicest person, and you're sick and you're like, I think a lot of people forget, because they're in their routine of
Yes.
that they're caring for people, and no matter what it is, customer service, all of it. And
Yes.
so, as I get older, I see, customer service kind of, spiraling down, and I'm just kind of like, you got to take a step back no matter how frustrated you are, and just remember that they're human beings too. And that's gotten me very far in terms of being a contractor, especially a female contractor.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I think that what like as a mom, as a person, sometimes when I am seeking, looking for service, I'm more attracted with a person to a person that has empathy, that is
Right.
genuine, that is like will literally listen to you and not just all about business. All right.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let everybody know that if you Alex is one person with such a big heart. I am actually part of her group. She's gonna talk about her group lately in a little while. It's a sisterhood group, and Alex has gained the trust of a lot of women because of her authenticity. She's genuine, she's real. You'll always see her smiling, and she's very humble. And managing a big group could be difficult, but Alex has always showed her passion for that group. And I think that's what driving people or women to stay in her group. It's simply because of her empathy and genuine concern for others. And I am a witness because I'm part of that group. And I just wanted to really let you know, Alex, that I I love your spirit. I love your authenticity. I love your genuine side of you and never change. That's how
I
people like you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
And Alex has a lot of stories. I don't know if she's going to mention that will really showcase or really present her, like what she like in the beginning she talked about, like the youth, her concern for the community, and it shows. Um, she has a lot of experiences wherein that genuine love for her to help others is really the core of her, I guess, authentic life.
Yeah. I feel like people that have gone through a lot, those are the people, that if they can work through the issues that they've gone through and try to, give it back to the community and not harness it and feel the hatred, if you can turn it around and you view it as lessons learned, it's
Yes.
going to take you a lot further and you can help people that have been through the same thing.
Yes, yes. I love what you're sharing. Don't get surprised because after our podcast, sometime this week, I'm also sharing something of myself that is so close or similar to your passion. So you'll be like, hey, that's exactly what I want to do, or that's me,
Yeah.
like in you. Like, don't be surprised because like
Yeah.
I see myself in you when it comes to your love for others and love for the community. All
I
right.
love that.
All right. So, our second part of the show will talk about resilience in business and leadership. Alex, resilience is such a critical skill for entrepreneurs, but it's also it's a lifeline for educators. I've been in the field of education for 30 years, and I've seen firsthand how resilience is not just about managing the day-to-day challenges of teaching, but about
Right.
facing the unthinkable. Um, Alex, being a teacher nowadays has become incredibly difficult, especially with the constant threat of school shootings. I know
Right.
this is a sensitive topic, but this is just me genuinely sharing my feelings and emotions as a teacher. This has nothing to do with, like politics or anything, but this is just me as a teacher, all right? Um, so, this reality became very personal for me, Alex, after the Sandy Hook tragedy in Connecticut, because I live in Connecticut. At
Oh,
that
wow.
time, I was living 45 minutes away from Sandy Hook. But then the year after, I moved to Connecticut, which was 10 minutes away from Sandy Hook.
Wow.
And I literally met parents who whose kids went there.
That's
And
terrifying.
it was. And honestly, I felt embarrassed because we were at the lake then. And when I found out that they were in Sandy Hook, I kind of said something. And I was really embarrassed because somebody had just like spoke with me and like, Candice, they don't want to talk about it. For
Yeah.
them, out of respect, let's not talk about it. So, like I said, I learned from my mistake, because they needed closure or they needed their space. And I don't think it's something to relive or talk about.
Right.
So it's sad. And at that time also I was a kindergarten teacher, Alex, and the shooting.
Oh, wow. That's,
So
yeah, it hits home.
remember, I mean, it was two classrooms full of kindergarten students.
Yeah.
So, Alex, every time there's a school shooting, and since Sandy Hook, it's been, ongoing. Alex, I cry when
Yeah.
I see a school shooting. It takes me days to recover. I cry because it breaks my heart to think how vulnerable teachers and students and staff. Alex, teaching used to be a safe space, but
Right.
now I couldn't go to work without worrying about my life.
Right.
And like teachers nowadays are already challenged with student behavior, the testing,
Yeah.
the diversity, like students coming in the middle of the year, and we have to make sure that they're learning. But the
Right.
fear that I can manage, we can get
Yeah.
training for that, Alex. We can get the management skills. But this fear of violence, Alex, has become a constant, overwhelming burden.
Right.
This year I left teaching, there were three shootings within a mile of my school in just 2 weeks. And at that time, I was widowed that same year. So I couldn't bear the thought of leaving
Wow.
my kids orphaned, Alex. Like if something happened to me, I know I love teaching, I love my students with all my heart, and I would have given my life to protect them without hesitation. In fact,
Right.
I even had a plan in place. Like we have this school plan, all right, but it wasn't enough to save me and my students. So I made a plan for myself. I carried, can I explain? I carried this long rod, metal rod that I kept hidden behind somewhere safe in my classroom, and I had the pepper spray that I carry in my bag. Alex, I had a I have a
Right.
plan.
You were
Like if
prepared.
something, yeah, because I feel like like the schools have good plans, but it's not enough when you're inside the classroom. Um,
Right.
so I mean, like it's like I would die for each and every student in my class. I love them with all my heart.
Right.
Alex, I even had a conversation with my family telling them, guys, I love you, but if something happens, I will not think twice about protecting my students. I would give my life
Right.
to them. And it was something that my family accepted. Plus, I had kids who went to school too. So it's very like, it's just raw and really like
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, I heard about kids not being able to wear light up shoes, because just in case there's a
Yeah, they'll be
shooter.
seen. Yes.
Ooh, that's crazy. I
And
know
Alex,
growing up we had tornado drills and now they have shooting drills.
Think about these kids with special needs wherein they cannot manage their emotions.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's the reality teachers face every day, Alex, and it takes a tremendous amount of resilience to step into a classroom knowing the risks.
Right.
So, like until now, when I hear shootings, I literally am so emotional because I could be there anytime when that happens. That's heavy. I've never shared that. That's heavy for me.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a very real thing, and it's a huge issue. And it goes hand in hand with, whether it's like bullying or, social media. I honestly think social media is the devil when it comes to kids nowadays. And whenever you hear about these things on TV, your
yes,
mind is instantly like, oh my God, I hope those kids are okay. And then it goes, well, what was that kid enduring? And it's like,
yes,
it's like two sides of it you're trying to understand, and it's just whether people bring in race to it or
yes.
bullying or backgrounds. It's kind of like, all right, this is so repetitive. How do we stop this kind of thing? So it's very upsetting because there's so many. It's not as simple as, oh, this kid was just playing around with a gun. It's like there's so many levels to
Intention.
it,
There's
like
intention. There's intention to it.
what's their home life like. It's endless questions, and a lot of times it doesn't even get answered, and that kid, whether they end up killing themselves or whatever it is, it's terrible, for all parties involved.
Yes, yes. Because you don't like what you said, you also don't know what this shooter is going through. Um, so we really don't know. But in the end, everyone's affected. Everyone is, it changes lives. And I don't know when the viewers are listening to this podcast this week, there was the latest shooting. And again, during the holiday season. So you just
Yeah.
can't help but feel like emotional and
Mm.
like just touched, and we just continue honestly with like deep thinking, like our hearts go to the
Yeah.
families of these affected or the victims. That's
Yeah.
all you can do at this time, right?
Yeah.
Sorry to put you like, it's just like
No, I get it.
I just thought about that because it's something that just happened. So, Alex, I know resilience plays a huge role in your journey as well. And I love
Mm.
to hear your perspective. What has been one of your most challenging situations you've faced in your business, or it could be personal? And maybe the second is, how did you cultivate resilience to cultivate it?
The
To
roofing
overcome
business.
it. I'm sorry, to overcome it. I'm sorry.
Okay. The roofing business, it's getting over rejection quickly, but I would like to touch on the topic of becoming a guardian ad litem and being a foster parent in that sense. I signed up to be a guardian ad litem about a year ago. I did the training for it. I was in foster care for a while and I had my own guardian ad litem. And That's one of those things where, you can choose to either give back to the community for something you've also been through, or you can harp on it and become that stereotype of just spiraling downhill. So, um, I did the training, and I specific they kind of give you an age range to choose from, and what kind of a child whatever case you get. And I didn't want to deal with little kids. I was like, it's too much. Like my heartstrings. That's too much. So, I chose teenagers, and I was like, well, like
That's a
I have
tough one.
tattoos.
That's
Yeah,
a
I have
tough one.
yeah, I have tattoos. I feel like I can, like, we can relate. Maybe they'll feel better opening up to me about stuff. Maybe I know some of their lingo. So they gave me about 10 cases to choose from, and I didn't want more than one because I wanted to give my attention to one.
Okay.
But a sibling case came up, and I was like, oh, well,
Wow.
I guess, and I can't go into too much details, but I went to the group home and I met them, and it was really emotional, because you it's like a campus of like kids, and it's very violent. Like there's fist fights there every day. There's kids are getting Baker acted at, and it's all age ranges. Like they have like a pregnancy ward for teen
Wow.
pregnancies. They have like different age groups, like toddlers, babies, teenagers.
All in one center, all in one building,
It's There are different buildings, but it's like on one campus.
in one like center, or like in one
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. So, you arrive there, you go in the gate, and you drive to whatever, cottage it is. And it's, you knock on the door, and the little kid answers. And,
Oh,
it's just whether they're in a diaper or, there's screaming going on. And it's very unnerving.
that's
And
yeah.
you want to know everyone's story, like what happened, what's going on, talk to me, and a lot of the kids come up, hug you, you don't even know them.
Oh,
You just your brain starts to go wild with that. And so, I got to meet my case, and they're great, and that's who I ended up becoming a foster parent for. You know how like people will foster like animals and they become foster fails,
yes.
and yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And but
Wait, were you thinking of it like just for long term, or like what you said, temporary, like when you foster for a day or like for over the holiday? What was your intention?
So we were going to adopt them.
Okay.
So their plan was to age them out, and they were younger, and I was like, we can't sit here for that long in a group home and do that. So my husband and I were like, hey, I think we have to do this. Like we love those kids, and so we did all the paperwork. I became a level one licensed foster parent or home.
Wow.
And we got them put in our home 6 weeks later, and it was great. It's very they like, there's a lot of things that go into of being a foster parent, and it's very unforgiving, because you're dealing with all these things as teenagers. They don't really understand. Like, the biggest question was like, I don't understand why you want me because I'm a teenager. Why wouldn't you want a baby? And
Yes.
I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, you're what I want.
Oh,
Like that's just it. That's just how it goes, and we had them for about 6 months, and we had our adoption papers in, and um, it just ended up spiraling. They wanted to do their own thing, and they wanted to be independent. And so it ended up not being a good fit. But it was hard. Whether you have to go see these kids in the group homes, you end up learning certain things. The kids call you crying. It's hard.
yes.
My husband watched me go down a path of just like depression, anxiety. You want to help these kids. You're like,
Yes.
and then you want to like go to the parents and be like, what's wrong with you? And I don't have kids of my own, so I'm just like, man, like we've had a hard time getting pregnant, and it's like, man, these people have kids and just
Yes.
like throw them out there, and it's like, well, some people can't even have kids, so it's very frustrating. And then, um, I know one time I went and it was probably 10 o'clock at night, and there's this like little 5-year-old girl running around in a diaper outside.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's going on? I stopped my car and they're like, oh, she broke a TV. She's outside for timeout. What?
5 years old.
She ran up to me and hugged me and wouldn't let go. She said, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this isn't even my case. Like I can't even there
Yes.
I literally cannot do anything. So when it comes to kids and people they definitely need more guardian ad litems, but it's not for the weak.
Yes.
It's hard. It's
And
very,
honestly,
very hard.
I don't think weakness is a failure. It makes you stronger. Honestly,
Sure.
what you did was honorable. What you did was admirable, and it doesn't matter. Even for that moment, you changed these kids' lives, and they're gonna appreciate the time that they were with you. And hopefully, when they have a family of their own, or when they grow up, then they realize how life truly can be beautiful if they only put more attention to it. Don't forget, they're
Yeah.
teenagers. They don't know any better in a lot of
Right.
ways. You
It
know.
was crazy because they're going into high school and you start hearing the bullying. Like they were telling me about how like there was a Facebook or Instagram page for the high school for bullying specifically, like if you're ugly and go here, and they would post photos of students, and I'm like, well, you're
Oh my
creating a school
goodness.
shoot you're creating a school shooter right there. I know some people that would wake up and check that page to see if they were on it that day, and it's like they can't figure out who's behind it. So, you hear all these things and you're just like, I can't go to school and like, beat these kids up or anything. It's like, well, I can only teach you, skills to like deal with it. But I
Right.
mean, what we dealt with bullying wise, um, back in the day, you would get bullied for what, 7 hours and go home, be with your family. These kids deal with bullying 24 hours a
Yes.
day.
Well, it's also because of your exposure to like the internet. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We get bullied as like adults. Imagine these
Yeah.
kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Poor kids. I'm just like, it's
No,
hard.
it's terrifying. I was trying to have a baby. I'm like, oh gosh, like, do I homeschool? Like, what do it's like, and I don't even know what that'll be like whenever they get to that age. So it's so scary, and I commend the parents out there trying their best, especially if they're both working full-time jobs and they don't have time to attend to like, you hear. We had a notification. This was like for the middle school that there was a gun on campus, and we got the
Okay.
voicemail, and like it's crazy. Your first thought is that my child? And then you're like,
Yes.
is it her? It's like you go through like a
You're gonna go
million
crazy.
thoughts.
You're probably gonna be running. You'll be the first one running. If there's no car, you'll probably run by foot just to get there for your kids.
Yeah, everything goes through your mind. Like, oh my God, is my kid the school shooter? Is like, are they hurt? Can they call me?
Mhm.
Or did they leave? Like, and then it's just like endless like craziness. And maybe that doesn't happen too much if you like have a baby from the beginning, but just having
Yes.
teenagers like right away, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so much. And like the social media, all of it. It's just how do you tell a kid they're good enough when they log on and see, everything that's fake and all this
The
stuff. So
negativity, but Alex, don't even take it personally, because being a mom raising teenagers is already difficult. What about in your situation? You actually brought in two individuals, teenagers with learned behaviors already, who
right,
probably went through a lot of negativity in their lives that maybe they didn't even got received that time, got that time to heal. So
right,
there are so many involved with the process that you that you and your husband went for. So don't even think of it as like, it's a good learning experience for both parties, you and them. And
yeah,
what you did, believe me, I don't think anyone could have handled it like better, because it's just a hard situation. You know what I mean? It's just a hard situation. So
yeah,
consider yourself that I did my best. I'm proud of what I did. And, you gave those kids 6 full months of
right.
like something permanent in their life. They were probably fed well. They were given all the material things that they wanted. Yes,
Oh,
it's
I
a,
had a Hello Kitty everywhere at my house.
oh, they like Hello Kitty.
I was like, oh my gosh, so much Hello Kitty.
And you know what? It's something that you will look back 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and say, hey, I did this for others. And I
Yeah.
can be truly, truly be proud of myself. And I'm proud of you for doing that. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. But thank you. Thank you for doing that for the benefit of the youth and the children. Thank you. Because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I just have genuine love for children. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, Alex, so we're going to talk about supporting mindset and well being for success. A mindset, the growth mindset is really very important in my podcast because my podcast is all about being intentional and having that mindset really helps you gain success. So, I believe, Alex, that mindset and well being are essential for leaders. You know, you're a leader, I'm a leader, for a lot of business owners, teachers, and personally, for me, journaling, like writing down things, has been a key practice for me. Like every morning, I sit down and write about what I'm grateful for, what I hope to achieve, and what challenges I need to tackle. I don't know. I just began to love writing more when I became a speaker this year, and I also have learned, Alex, in order for me to embrace that self-care, self-love journey that I am currently in now, is really to say positive affirmations.
Oh
I
yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like I just look at life so positively, and the way I do it is I affirm my life, Alex. I say I'm okay. I'm going to be okay today. Today's a good day. Like I'm already, if I have like manifestations of how I want my
Yes.
life to be, I literally say it, verbalize it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I have big dreams in my life, and I pretend or act in my head that it's already happening.
Yeah, I like that.
And you'll be amazed at how your energy, your positivity can lead you to your path.
Right.
And I will, it's also my way. When I do that, I feel like I'm connecting with the people, like the audience, the followers on social media, the listeners in my podcast, because I just feel like doing those things can really impact people. Like you don't
Well,
want to
if
be.
you have a following, you have to. It's like people kind of are relying on you to be a rock, and it's okay to not be a rock, but if you have that following, you start this up, you have to have that understanding that, people are watching and, you know,
And not only that, when I open the camera, I'm not here just to be famous. I'm not here to go viral. No, I'm here to make an impact. I'm
right.
here to like really spread something beautiful. Because like what you were saying this in the beginning of the podcast is just so ugly. It's just so many negativity in this world that all we
Yeah.
want to do is really just in our own special way. You with your community and me by doing this, we can change the world. You know, have an
Yeah.
impact. And another way that I'm doing also for that mindset is visualization. That's a big tool for me, Alex. Like I visualize my life.
Yeah.
I see myself in a year. Like when I made this career change, I literally imagine myself. This is how I want to see myself. I visualize my life in 2 years, 5 years, and then 10 years. And I just make it just these practices that I've shared with you just helps me grow as a person and become more
Yeah,
confident and really embrace the challenges of this new journey.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I just want to end that. I'm going to be wrapping up um, season one of Intentional Excellence podcast, and I can see. I just want to like vision myself for year 2025. Just more different ways of influencing people, and just
Yeah.
having more people that will leave an impact to my audience. Um,
Yeah,
you know, um,
absolutely.
and it's just that growth mindset. You and I continuously want to grow.
Yeah.
It's just how I'm shaping myself today.
If you're authentically like that, what's great about it is you don't have to put in this weird effort. It's like it
Yeah.
comes effortlessly. Like it's really great.
And all you need to do is be yourself. No need for
Yeah.
planning because you're actually being yourself. And that's what
Yeah.
I want to do. I think this year, because of that growth mindset, I've become more confident, more intentional, and really focused person.
Yeah.
Alex, even negativity of people around me or situation, I let it go. I let it
Yeah.
go. You know,
You
it won't.
have to, because it'll eat at you, you know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay, well, and then you start, whether you're being delusional about it or not, you're like, I'm okay. Things will be okay today. You're like, well, I just have
Right?
to talk myself through this because regardless, like, we're just going to live another day. So,
And I'm not saying that each day is gonna be perfect. There's gonna be triggers. There's gonna be issues, but then you need to learn how to navigate your life, or else who's gonna lose you, right? All right. So,
yep.
Alex, how does mindset play a role in your day to day life? And like first, I want to find out from you, what role does mindset play in your day to day? As an, it could be talk about being an entrepreneur, being the founder of Boss Babes, and are there specific practices you use to maintain a positive growth focused attitude?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from a background of a lot of depression and anxiety. So it's taken me a long time to decide, hey, I want to start this Boss Babes group. I originally started it because I didn't have a lot of like adult women friends, and I was like, I need to have some sort of friends. Like I have my long distance friends, but maybe we could do something in the community, and just like it's good to have people around you, right?
Yes.
And what I found out is it's really hard for people to make friends as adults, and um, so dealing with depression and anxiety and starting a group. There's a lot of times where you want to go MIA. You don't want to show up. You don't want to put that face on that day, and
I'm sorry about that.
like yeah, no, absolutely, and a lot of people deal with that. So being strong for other people, like putting that to the side and focusing on helping other people has been really good, because we're all going through it. Everyone goes through really
Yeah.
tough things, and there's I never try to compare. Oh, like if like she's gone through worse or she hasn't gone through something, she doesn't understand. It's like, well, everyone's gone through something. So if we can like build this support system for each other and a sisterhood, obviously there's going to be some people that don't like you, or
Yeah. I know.
have their own feelings about stuff like that, and that's okay. um but as time goes, you start building this whole system, and it's whether they're broken at that time, and like this group does some serious healing. I mean, that's what it's done for me. I started out with like a few members, right, and then we've grown to something so big that, and it's like you go and you watch, and like people are genuinely happy. Like I love going back in the photos of like the group events, and there's people genuinely laughing, smiling, they put their guard down. And that's beautiful. Like it's like it's so emotional to see, because you're like, I created this, but at the same time it's like we all came together because we all felt something was missing.
Yes.
um and look at us now. It's beautiful.
And I wanted to add to what Alex said, that this group that she created, I'm part of it. And I think I joined sometime August and September. And she has this monthly meetup wherein she organizes an event. It could be like going to a Brazilian steakhouse or like a party, or just any way to bring new women or old and new to a safe space wherein all they do is just learn from each other and really know from each other. And there was one favorite event that I attended. It's actually in Alex's condominium unit or apartment
Mhm.
complex. It was a beautiful rooftop. And what's nice about that was not just the ambiance or the location. There was a time when Alex asked us to gather in circles. There were about what, 20 or 30 women entrepreneurs.
35.
Oh, ooh, okay. So
I know. That's our
it's like
biggest one
they
yet.
were all successful in their own specific field. And Alex asked everybody to stand in a circle and introduce each other, and I think share not just about their businesses, because yes, we were there to network, but I heard a lot of things on top of the business idea. You know what I mean? There were like raw emotions. Some people were crying because I think it's that longing to be heard, or just being part of a group. At that time, you leave, you don't bring any of your family member, no kids. It's just your me time with like-minded people, having fun together, sharing food, having a drink, and simply just having that space for conversation. And I like that much, that circle thing that you did, where everybody had the chance to be heard and be listened to. Was I think that was the my favorite part
I
of
think
that
it's
talk.
great because if you listen to what people are saying, you know why they're there.
Yes,
'Cause yes, it is a networking thing, sure. But to be totally honest, it became more of like a safe space for girls to like become family. I wanted a space where, maybe you're walking around in the mall and you see a dress and you're like, I don't even know where I'd wear that to. This is where you wear it to.
yes.
I want you to get dressed. I want you to feel your best. I want to take photos. Like I want you to be a girl again or woman. And so it was really cool to see, like, you could tell why people were there, and
Yes.
it was beautiful. It was really great.
And what's once a month that you actually buy something like really fancy dress? Like, when
Right.
can you find an event,
Exactly.
on a monthly basis, even just one time, to just show up in your most beautiful self?
And
But
sometimes they don't have people to take them fancy places. Like, oh, if you're like single, or, I don't know, if your partner's just not into that, I will take you out. I will show you a good time. And so, it's important that women feel sexy, they feel
yes,
empowered, they feel powerful. Like, girl, you still got this. Like,
my
it doesn't
age, like,
it
like,
doesn't even matter if you're a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't matter what you do. You are still a powerhouse, and
yes.
you deserve to be heard, whatever your issues are. It doesn't matter if they're little issues, big issues. It doesn't matter.
And like you said, it's like a sisterhood of women, all ages, all walks of life.
Yep.
Yes, initially it's not working. You have a business, but it. I don't think Alex will turn you down or turn you
Oh,
away if you don't have a business. It's just simply being women. You want a space.
I don't care if
You
you're unemployed.
yes,
Like,
yes,
that's another thing. We will do with all the women. We could probably find you a job. I want every version of you, whether it's broken, healed, in love, heartbroken, all of it,
I like
because
that.
I want any version of you at any time.
And especially, I'm new here in Florida. I'm a New Yorker for, like, and moving here to Florida, it was hard. I I really started with no friends because I'm also very picky with, like, my connections. And at the same time, like, I'm, because of, like, my age or what I do, other than my co-teachers, like, it's hard. It's really hard to form
It's
a
hard.
social group. It's hard to find friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not getting any younger. So I really looked forward when I joined her group, Alice's group. I felt part of something again, you know what I mean? And great women, great people, real, authentic, and one goal, and that is to be successful in their own special way. That's
Yeah.
one thing I can say about this
Mm.
group.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna talk about now. You talked about your group. We're gonna talk about building a community and empowering others. And I know you've shared a lot of already ways that you have shown this. Um, I want to share mine, and maybe you have others that you
Yeah.
want to share, because I know you look like you have so much, like, that you want to accomplish in your life. Alex, so my ultimate goal, when I which I envision working on it, maybe a year or two, is really to support children from all over the world and promote literacy. That's me being a teacher. When I see videos of children, maybe in TikTok, where you see real life situation, or like a feed comes in my social media page where I see kids just walking around bare with no shoes, or just like not learning, and just like no
Mm.
space to learn. Oh, that breaks my heart. That's a
Yes.
teacher in me. And I believe how education and literacy can really change someone's life. So, this is my ultimate goal, Alex. I want to build a community of learners in third world countries. I want to be a philanthropist, empowering them to succeed despite poverty or lack of access to education. And
Right.
I want these children and their families know that they matter and have the
Yeah.
potential to achieve greatness. I want to form this non-for-profit group where I will use my influence as a speaker, donate a portion percentage of my earnings with whatever business or speaking engagements, and put up a non-for-profit organization just solely to promote literacy among children. That is
I
my
love that.
ultimate goal, and that's my like what you said, like you like to build community. This is my community of learners.
Yeah.
um and
I love that. Um, I think if if we're up to me, I would I think the biggest thing for children and teenagers and is don't don't settle for the stereotype that the world's given you.
yes,
Um, oh my gosh, I cannot stress that enough. What if I had
I
listened
love
to
that.
every single stereotype I was supposed to go under? It's crazy. Like, just don't fall into that. Whether you come from poverty, you come from money, and like, third world country here, like, just, you have an opportunity no matter what it is. It might be tougher for some people, obviously. But man, you can do as much as you want to do. Don't let your current surroundings
Define
dictate
you,
how your life
define
will
you.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that, Alex. And I don't know. Like I don't think I'll ever be fulfilled in my life if I don't do this. This is my
Yeah.
ultimate goal in life. Yeah, and I hope that I'm not getting any younger. I hope that I can get closer to that. And I know things have been happening so rapidly for me, Alex. Like the changes in my life within the past year are just out of my comfort zone, and I know that at one point I will have that opportunity to start this foundation. In my heart, I know if I'm
Well,
putting.
any way I can help you, I'd love to help you.
Oh, thank you. I will put it in planning. I will put it in planning because I want to have more years devoted to this one so that I can, while I'm stronger or while I'm, what I mean? Like, yeah, I just want to start. Yeah, yeah. One of these days we'll go grab a cup of coffee and then just plan, Thank you. Thank you for offering. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what about you? How did you envision Boss Babes contributing to women's growth and success? And Alex, what has been the most rewarding part of build? Yes, you shared that, but do you want to add more to what you already mentioned?
Something I've put in place, the last few times, was okay, how can we give back to our community? My husband and I did Feeding Tampa Bay,
Oh, wow.
where we did see they brought kids in, they're homeless, and I'm like, how's that, possible? But legally it's not illegal. So it was crazy seeing children homeless. And so I definitely want to, have those volunteering days, especially during the hurricane. We had a group, and we worked with another group, a boss group, a girl group in St. Pete, where we were volunteered, cleaning up, hurricane damage and things
Damage.
like
Yeah.
that. But something we also have done is, I collect like money for events. It holds people accountable, but at the end, we donate it all towards the waiter or waitress that,
Yeah, I remember
served our
that.
table. But I would like to take it to a different level this year or next year. And, you know, there's a lot of moms that are struggling with like, keeping their house up, whether they have like, a lot of kids, they have kids with special needs, things like that.
Mhm.
To be able to maybe volunteer our time in terms of, oh, well, let's go help her clean her house, or
Right, right.
just maybe a monthly event where we can choose to go help someone in the community. So kind of gearing it towards that.
Yes, and not only that, so then you're not just empowering the women in your group, you're also a catalyst for really spreading them out there in the community for a greater purpose. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes you need, as a woman, as a mom, you need that opportunity. Like you need that moment, you know what I mean? So if you create that event and moment and we can just show up and be part of it, then you're helping us find another purpose in our lives.
And I think people want to help, and maybe like putting things into perspective, like, oh, I'm having a really bad day. I spilled coffee all over my car. but you go volunteer at a home where there's special needs, and she's alone, and you're just putting things into perspective and just being
Right.
grateful for what you have going on.
Yeah, and then maybe if you offer multiple if ongoing events, then you know how busy us, the women are, then maybe they'll have many opportunities to
Exactly.
volunteer. You know what I mean? Like an ongoing thing, maybe like like offering in the shelter, distributing clothes, or like
Yes.
doing a drive, clothes drive, or
Yeah.
even like a cupcake drive, something drive just to earn money. You know what I mean? That would be really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
have a great community of women that want to help, and people I've never even met or come to an event have donated to stuff. So it's like, wow, you guys are incredible. Like I cannot stress this enough. I would not have a group if it weren't for those women. So it's really incredible.
And I know Alex mentioned about the hurricane when you were helping after the damage,
Mhm.
and you mentioned that group. I was actually part of that group, and because you shared that group, and you were like inviting others. I went to one of those places an hour away from Tampa where we
Oh,
live.
in Sarasota, right?
No, I ended up in Dunedin. Is that how you say it?
Oh,
Dunedin?
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up there alone because like we were all spread out in different communities. And thank you because you shared that. It gave me an opportunity to help.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you don't know when people are available, and just having those multiple areas and events really gives us an avenue to be part of a
Yeah.
community. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk about staying productive and focus amidst multiple roles. You are an entrepreneur, business owner, you're a founder of like this sisterhood, and I'm sure you have other things that you are focused on. So right now I'm balancing multiple roles. I don't know if you're aware, I'm a keynote speaker, I'm a podcast host, I'm a social media content creator, aspiring author, entrepreneur. It's a lot, Alex. And
Okay.
I've learned that when you have so many roles, you might start to lack focus in one area.
Right.
Sometimes I've always believed that less is more. But here's the thing. In my work now, in what I'm trying to achieve, everything just fits, blends together, Alex. So in a way, I'm now going away that belief that less is more. I feel that with my like career change right now, I feel that I can do more because it's
Right.
all blending well, nicely together. And that what makes me feel authentic because it's just me doing this multiple roles. You know what I mean? And I realized that yes, having one clear goal, and even despite all these multiple roles that I do, Alex, I just really have one goal, and that is to make an impact in the world
Yeah.
and become the best version of myself. So no matter how many roles I'm portraying, I have that one goal in my head:
Yeah.
really make an impact and become for
Yeah.
myself my best version.
Right.
Um, you'll find me sharing the ugly side of my life, like the negative, what I went through in life. In my podcast, it's not all about the beauty, the beautiful things in life. No, I share everything about myself, and
Right.
which really made me become who I am. Because I don't think people can see through you, Alex. People
Yeah.
know if you're just saying things for the sake of saying it. People know if you actually experience real situation, real problem in
Right.
real lives, right? And I feel that that's like whenever I speak, like people like message me and tells me that, hey, I resonated with what you
Yeah.
said, thank you. And that's making an impact for me. Just one, that's all I need. One.
It's pretty crazy what if you're just honest about the things you've been through. Like I'll have family sometimes message me, I don't think you should have shared that. And I'm
Yes.
like, well, if
Oh.
someone else is going through that, like why I mean, I don't have anything to hide at this point. I'm kind of like an open book. Um, what if it helps somebody? Yeah, it's maybe uncomfortable for you to put out there, but to me, I mean, someone's going through it.
And not only that, Alex, yes, you go to, let's say, a clinic, a psychologist, a psychologist, psychiatrist. Yes, they have degrees, but did they actually experience that thing that you want help with? Unlike
Right.
you and I, we actually relived
Right.
it, and learned from it. So, who are the best people to give you advice? But I believe it's the people who actually went through life. good
Yeah.
or bad, right? And if you're not speaking, you're keeping it to yourself. You're keeping it inside you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need to release and just say how you feel, and whatever you're hiding inside. Believe me, it feels so good. Sharing it feels so good instead of like
Yeah.
just building it inside you. I believe that.
Even if you just helped one person, like that was
Yes.
worth it.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. One person can you can change one person
Yep.
because of your story. Now, how about you, Alex? How do you manage the demands of balancing multiple roles? Specifically, what strategies help you stay productive and focused? And how do you avoid burnout while managing multiple roles?
I think communication, if you have a partner, is one of the biggest things. My husband is like my rock. He's so stable.
Oh,
And he deals with all my anger issues. And, it's like communicating how you feel. Like, hey, right now, like today is a lot for me. And just not feeding into, like, not everything needs a reaction.
right.
um that's a huge one. Like, people can be, yelling at you, upset. Okay, well, I just need to take a step back. They're probably going through something. If they're being ugly in their own life, realizing that they're probably going through something, that's a big thing. If you can just like look at things from like up in the sky, um
And not
like,
be
don't
in
take it
not be
personal.
inside, right? Not be in like the actual
Yeah,
like
don't take it personal. Like, they're probably just going through something. And then, everyone's going through something. So just take a step back. It's probably not personal. Maybe it is, but it's probably not. Especially if it's in business. They're not screaming at you because they're upset that it's raining and their new roof is getting wet. They're upset because, is there's an underlying issue. And so, just don't take things as personal. And I think that's my biggest piece of advice, with all of it.
what specifically like what happened for the past the couple of months in Florida. Oh, Alex and I are in Florida specifically
Mhm.
um in an area where we just witnessed two hurricanes back to back in a span of 2 weeks. And like what you said, like what we mentioned, Alex has a business, a roofing business, and the damage to those houses is not, it's not a joke.
No,
People
we
lost.
dealt with really emotional, like people
Yeah.
screaming at us, and that's another thing right there. You cannot take it personal because they just lost everything. Yeah.
And like this is all new to me because I came from New York where and we don't have hurricanes. We have snowstorm, but not to the extent that you can lose your life. So if you have a roofer who's there unwilling to listen to you, or just just accept your emotion at that time, then you know what, you're not in the right business, because those people, homeowners, don't just need a roofer, they need someone that would listen to them, maybe
Right.
cry, or like just you don't, like you said, you don't know what they went through. Like it's a
Right.
back-to-back hurricane, they lost their lives, they lost belongings, and some of them even lost family members, and it's sad.
It's
So
bad. Yeah.
it's really really sad. So what you're doing, it's not easy. It's not easy. You need to be empathetic. You need to
Yeah.
show that you really have genuine, concern for others, not just there
Yeah.
for, the money or the work.
Right.
Um, so Alex, so I don't want to end this, but there's whenever I have a guest, I always ask one question for everyone. And that is, if there is one concept, topic, or a piece of advice or a quote that you'd like to leave our listeners with, what would that be? I know you said so many wonderful things already, but what's one thing that you want your viewers to really resonate with?
It's gonna be super vague, but being kind goes so far. Like, you wouldn't believe what people are going through. My mom committed suicide, and so it's like, you really do not know what people are going through. So if you can put it into the world, just like every day, just a little piece of you being better, whether it's, opening the door for someone, or someone like drops something, help them pick it up. You have no idea what they're dealing with. And so if you can just, be a little bit of light in their day, that's going to go like I don't you probably don't even realize like how many times you've saved someone just by being kind to them,
Yes.
making them feel seen, giving them some sort of purpose. Like it just be a good person, you know? You don't have to like care necessarily all the time, but just don't go out and be a piece of shit. Like
Yeah.
yeah, be just be nice, you know?
You
It's
know,
not
Alex, you know how simple the word kindness is, but for others who don't even know how to start, and sometimes
no.
they need real people or real events to learn.
Yeah.
Something as simple as kindness could be so difficult for others, so we really need to remind others. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
Yeah.
maybe like, yes, kindness. Very much
Yeah.
needed in this world. In this world, very much needed. I agree with you. It could be kindness at home, kindness to yourself, and
On Facebook, you know, like I get on Facebook and it's just a bunch of keyboard warriors so rude, like so mean. And I'm like, man, you people are so I'm like, you don't say that kind of stuff in person, but I think that the internet is I mean, you've obviously never been punched in the face. Like I think the internet is giving people like they don't care what they say, and so they'll they start this, oh, it's okay to be rude, other people do it, it's okay, I already said this, and wow, like you really don't know what's on the other side of that screen. And then they're bringing it into real life, whether they're being rude to their waiter, waitress, like all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, so at what point are you just being a bad person? Like you just don't have any regard for the human life
yeah.
anymore. So just be nice.
You know what I think of these people, honestly?
They're hurting.
Yeah, they're self-projecting. They're
Yeah.
projecting to other people how I'm sorry, how sad, miserable their life is, and they
Yeah.
think that they can sugarcoat it by being mean to others. It's
Yeah.
actually themselves that needs working on. And I just feel that the internet nowadays, if you're not careful, you might
Oh,
get soaked into
yeah.
that mentality of just being mean. Stop,
Yeah.
stop being mean.
It's gross. It's gross.
And like
Yeah.
I told Alex, like, Alex, I'm videotaping something, I'm recording something before a podcast, and it's something that is around this conversation that we just had about being kind. And I'm just really um so humbled to share this thing that I'm going to be sharing soon. And it's all what Alex and I have been talking about: kindness.
That's
Kindness.
great.
It's yeah, in my own way. I want to spread kindness.
Yeah.
Alex, before we end, do you have anything that you want to say? Any parting words you want to promote anything? Where can people
Um,
find you?
I just want to say thank you for having me. For first and foremost, you have a great podcast. What you're doing and putting out into the world is a beautiful thing. One thing I always think about is at my funeral, did I are what who's gonna be there? What are they gonna say? Like, did I put more good into the world than I did bad? That's a big thing, and I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and you have such a good heart, and it's a great thing, and don't ever stop being you. I do have my women's group, and any form of woman is more than welcome to join. If you feel uncomfortable, like message me. You can come early. We can have a glass of wine. Like I will make sure you're heard, you're seen, you're loved, and you're taken care of. I don't. There's no ego here. There's nothing like that. I don't care what background you have. Like let's just get through it. And before you know it, you're part of the family, and it's an awesome thing. So yeah, if you are interested in joining, feel free to message me or join and come when you feel comfortable. And again, all there's a bunch of girls here that would like love to have you and make you feel welcome. So that's pretty much where we're at.
And one thing I noticed with Alex, whenever there's an event or anything, she would always post. If you are struggling with money or you're unable to attend such certain things, certain events, please message me. Please
Yeah, I'll
message
cover
me.
you.
Um,
Don't let you not having money or you can't afford to like pay. I will handle it. Like we'll get it taken care of. I want you there. I don't want your wallet. I don't want, I want you. We will make it work.
I'm so proud of your mission, because you're not just it's not just like a surface level. You're really going deep because you're showing your true self, which is your generosity, good heart, and just being you. And it's not going to be easy all the way, but just make sure you know your goal, what your purpose is, and you know what, you will overcome anything, because it's
Yes.
sometimes it's hard to please everybody, and I've learned that
Mhm.
firsthand.
Yeah.
I'm not here to please anyone, as long as I know that I am true to myself and others can resonate or learn from me. I'm not
Right.
being fake. I'm not being like, I'm not sharing false
Right.
pretensions or anything like that. Then you know what, it's okay. Not
Right.
everybody's gonna like you. Honestly, not everyone's gonna like you. But you know
Yeah.
what? You'll shine through. Your
Yeah.
your your sun, what your warmth will shine through.
Yeah.
Never let anyone dim your light. That's one thing I realized in life. Don't let anyone dim your light. Always shine bright.
Yep.
Not just for yourself, but for others. Um,
Yeah.
Alex, so I again, you'll see Alex. I'm gonna make sure that in my message, I'll have all the links where you can contact her with her business or the Boss Babes. That's one thing that you should try, if you're a woman wanting sisterhood. Alex, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been really a pleasure having you. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Intentional Excellence. Know more about me at www.candiceruggiero.com. I speak at conventions, conferences, workshop, and professional development, both in person and virtual. And I speak on authenticity, intentionality, leadership, teacher empowerment, and fighting burnout. And you can connect with me in my link tree with all my social media platform, linktree/Candice Ruggiero. Remember, excellence isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional in everything that you do. Stay inspired, stay focused, and as always, strive for excellence. Until the next time, have a good evening, have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.